Hi and welcome to the latest Ancient Egypt news from the 4th week of May. The Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities celebrated International Museum Day, observed annually on the 18th of May, through a wide-ranging programme of temporary archaeological exhibitions and interactive cultural activities hosted by museums across the country. This year's celebrations aligned with the theme announced by the International Council of Museums, ICOM, Museums Unite a Divided World, which highlights the roles of museums in promoting dialogue, cultural understanding and shared human values across civilizations. These exhibitions and activities reflect the important cultural and humanitarian role that antiquities museums play in promoting communication and understanding among peoples, asserted Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Sherif Fati. He said museums today serve as bridges for civilizational dialogue and sustainable development, while also contributing to raising archaeological and tourism awareness among citizens of all age groups. These initiatives help strengthen the public's connection to Egypt's rich history and unique civilization, and encourage the preservation of the country's authentic cultural heritage, he stated. Secretary-General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, the SCA, Hisham El-Lithi, said the exhibitions organised at Egyptian antiquities museums this year explore themes directly linked to the global celebration's message. He explained that the exhibitions present diverse collections and narratives that highlight the common human experience across historical eras and civilizations, despite cultural differences. El-Lithi added that the exhibitions reflect the evolving role of museums as institutions dedicated not only to preserving heritage, but also to reinforcing cultural identity and social awareness. The museums have evolved beyond being spaces dedicated solely to displaying the past, becoming dynamic platforms for cultural exchange and dialogue, he said. He noted that this year's activities reaffirm the Ministry's commitment to strengthening the educational and enlightening role of museums and promoting the idea that what unites humanity across time is far greater than what divides it. Among the highlights of this year's celebrations, the Sharm el-Sheikh Museum hosted an exhibition titled Threads of One, Unity of the Human Experience Across Ages, presenting archaeological artifacts through themes related to daily life, cultural interaction and shared human destiny. The Kafr el-Sheikh Museum showcased Deities in Ancient Egypt, an exhibition exploring the spiritual and religious life of ancient Egyptians through 54 artifacts, while the Tel Basta Museum presented Pottery, a bridge between peoples, focusing on pottery as a historical medium of cultural exchange. The Tanta Museum exhibition, Heritage Unites Us, examined how ancient Egyptian cultural values continue to shape Egyptian identity and traditions today. Meanwhile, the Luxor Museum of Ancient Egyptian Art presented One Life, One World, which highlighted similarities in human daily life across civilizations. In Alexandria, the National Museum of Alexandria collaborated with Adassa Photography Club to present Tramway, an exhibition documenting the memory and evolution of Alexandria's historic tram system through archival and photographic collections. The Royal Jewellery Museum unveiled The Charm of Turquoise, featuring rare royal jewellery pieces adorned with turquoise, gold and diamonds, while the Royal Carriages Museum presented Legacy of Peoples from medals to timepieces, showcasing medals, decorations and pocket watches as universal symbols of honour and time. Additional exhibitions included the Universal Human Spirit at the Farouk Corner Museum, Writing Between Past and Present at the Maniol Palace Museum, and Harmony of Civilizations at the Geyer Anderson Museum, each exploring different aspects of shared human creativity and cultural interaction throughout history. The exhibitions will continue throughout the coming weeks and months, with varying durations depending on each museum's own programme. More than 100 years after the discovery of the tomb of King Tutankhamun, the original mud ceilings that once secured the entrance to the boy king's burial chambers are now being exhibited to the public for the first time at the Luxor Museum. Carefully restored and reconstructed by Egyptian conservators, the fragments offer a rare glimpse into the final moments of one of the most extraordinary royal burials in ancient history. Among the thousands of treasures associated with the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922 by British archaeologist Howard Carter, few objects carried the same historical and symbolic significance as the original mud ceilings used to close the burial chambers of the tomb known as KV-62. Bearing official impressions linked to royal funerary rituals and administrative authority during the New Kingdom, the ceilings served as the final protective barrier guarding the king's burial. Their survival provides archaeologists with invaluable evidence of ancient Egyptian tomb ceiling traditions and burial practices during the 18th dynasty. Hisham al-Lethi from the SCA explained that when Carter first entered the tomb, he broke the ceilings apart during the excavation process, and later he stored them as fragmented pieces in wooden boxes without detailed records of their original placement. For decades they remained largely overlooked despite their exceptional archaeological value. In 2025, he continued, an Egyptian conservation team from the SCA launched a major scientific initiative to document, conserve and digitally reconstruct the fragments. The project involved photographing and cataloguing the pieces, studying their materials and manufacturing techniques, and manually and digitally matching the fragments to recreate their original form. Now displayed publicly for the first time at the Luxor Museum, the ceilings offer visitors and researchers an unprecedented opportunity to encounter one of the few surviving original architectural elements directly connected to the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. The ceilings were made from a local plaster material known in ancient Thebes as habaya, a mixture of calcite, clay, sand, plant fibers and gypsum. It is considered unique, with no comparable examples discovered in any other royal tomb in Egypt. Following the transfer of most of Tutankhamun's treasures to the Grand Egyptian Museum, they also stand as the only original structural remnants still associated with the legendary tomb itself. The National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics, the NRIAG, affiliated with the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, revealed a groundbreaking study uncovering the engineering secrets that has allowed the Great Pyramid of Khufu to withstand earthquakes for over 4,600 years. The study was published in the prestigious journal Scientific Reports, part of the Nature Foundation, and received international coverage from Reuters. The world has long believed that the sheer size and mass of the stones were the secret to the Great Pyramid's survival. However, this new study has proven that the ancient Egyptians were first-rate geotechnical engineers who applied dynamic principles thousands of years ahead of their time. By taking precise measurements at 37 points inside and outside the pyramid, scientists arrived at these astonishing results. The avoidance of seismic resonance. Studies have shown that the pyramid is designed with a uniform vibration frequency of an average of 2.3 Hz, which is significantly different from the frequency of the surrounding bedrock, 0.6 Hz. This ingenious difference completely prevents the amplification of seismic waves when they strike the structure. The secret of the pressure relief chambers. It was long thought that these chambers were designed solely to distribute the weight of the stones above the king's chamber, but measurements have proven that they act as a disperser and a vital damper of seismic energy, significantly reducing seismic amplification within them. And structural homogeneity. The pyramid's design and mass distribution allow it to behave as a single dynamic mass, eliminating any destructive torsional forces during earthquakes. And finally, the Luxor Museum of Ancient Egyptian Art has been recognised for its excellence in inclusivity and accessibility standards. The museum received the Excellence Shield for Best Museum Practices in Inclusivity and Accessibility in the 2026 Best Museum Practices competition. This award was presented by the Egyptian National Committee for Museums at the International Council of Museums in conjunction with International Museum Day. The evaluation criteria focused on how effectively museums make heritage accessible to all segments of society, alongside the implementation of digital and physical accessibility standards within museum spaces. The recognition places the Luxor Museum at the top of participating museums in Egypt for 2026 within the competition's inclusivity and accessibility category. And that's it for this week. This news podcast is brought to you by Ted Laux and GNT Tours. Ancient Egypt News is rated in the top 5 Egypt history podcasts, according to feedspot.com. For 2026 tour dates, please check out our website, gnttours.com. Follow us on social media. Thanks for listening to this episode. Please feel free to comment and share. Until next time, thanks again. Cheers. Bye-bye.